Hello guys, welcome to this episode. So today let me start by saying this clearly. This video is not about mocking anybody's pain. A man has died. A family has been in court for years. Women and children are involved. Emotions are involved. Legacy is involved. And when a matter like this enters the public space, it is very easy for people to reduce it to gist. But I think this case is bigger than gist. So today's video, it's about the case involving the late Dr. Tosin Ajayi, his first wife Adenike Ajayi, and Helen Prest-Ajayi. And this issue raises one very uncomfortable question that I think many Nigerians avoid until it is too late. And the uncomfortable question I'm talking about is this: can you build a life with someone for many years and still discover that legally you are not protected? Because for me, in life, love may explain the relationship, society may recognize the relationship, family and friends may even respect the relationship. But when death happens, when property is involved, when inheritance begins, and when the court asks for documents, the question becomes very, very different. The question is not, did you love each other? The question at that point will not even be, did people know you together? The question also will not be, how many years were you together? The question becomes, what does the law recognize? And that is the lesson we need to discuss today. So before I go further, let me be very clear. I am not a lawyer, and this is not legal advice. I'm also not here to judge Dr. Tosin Ajayi, the late Dr. Tosin Ajayi. Neither am I here to judge Helen Prest-Ajayi or to even pass comment about Mrs. Adenike Ajayi or any of the children involved. No, this video is based on public court reports, and from what has been reported, the matter is now on appeal. So anything I say here is commentary on the public issues and the lessons Nigerians can learn from the case. So if you are in a similar situation, please speak to a qualified lawyer. So here is the basic background. The late Dr. Tosin Ajayi was the founder of the First Foundation Hospital. He passed away during the peak era of the COVID lockdown. After his death, a legal battle began over his estate and over who should be recognized as his lawful widow. I'm sure a lot of us, majority of us, saw the viral picture during his funeral service with, the issues that happened between Mrs. Adenike Ajayi and Helen Prest-Ajayi during the funeral spa. Who has the right to pour the rights? Taluma Hoko die yepe and who should not die yepe? Who is the first person who should go last and all of that? I'm sure we all saw it at that time, right? So, on one side, Mrs. Adenike Ajayi, who claimed that she remained his legal wife because their statutory marriage was never dissolved. She was the first legally married wife. And according to her, even after so many years that they were separated and Helen Prest-Ajayi got involved, Dr. Tosin Ajayi never divorced her. Neither did she divorce Dr. Tosin Ajayi. So, on the other side was Helen Prest-Ajayi, who was a former Miss Nigeria, right? She was a former beauty queen who claimed that she also had a valid relationship and marital status with the late Dr. Ajayi. So, according to reports, the Lagos High Court held that Adenike Ajayi remained the sole lawful widow because her statutory marriage to Dr. Ajayi was never legally dissolved. So the court reportedly rejected the argument that long separation ended the marriage. In Nigeria, and I think some other part of the world, there's all this popular belief that as long as people have been separated for more than 2 years, then they're as good as, separated, they're as good as divorced. And that is, for me, I think is one of the biggest lessons from this case. Separation is not divorce. You can be separated for 5 years, for 10 years, for 20 years, even longer. But if there is a valid statutory marriage and there has been no legal divorce, the marriage will still be recognized in law. That is where many Nigerians get it wrong. In our society, once the couple separates for many years, people start saying, they are no longer together. Um, everybody has gone bye-bye, emotionally. I think that may be the case. They may no longer be together. Socially, yes, you don't see them together again. They are not a family. They are no longer a family unit and all that. Practically also, maybe, yeah, but legally, that is a different matter. It is a different matter legally, and that is, an important takeaway from this case between the Ajayis. So let's talk about this first. Nigerians confuse social recognition with legal recognition. We all know the late Dr. Tosin Ajayi to be a socialite, with Helen Prest-Ajayi. There is no social party, at least social parties, that you don't see them. In fact, Ovation magazine, Ecomio magazine, and all of that, you see Helen Prest-Ajayi and Dr. Tosin Ajayi. I mean, they were very, very, very well recognized socialites, before Dr. Ajayi passed on. So in Nigeria, we often treat relationship based on what everybody knows. People will say everybody knew they were together. Oh, she lived with him. She was the one that was with him when he was sick and all of that. And they had children together. She was the one taking care of him. She was the one the public saw with him. The first wife had left. They had not lived together for years. All those things may matter emotionally, honestly. And I think Nigeria we are emotional people. We judge or we address issues and situations emotionally, and these situations may also matter socially. They may even matter morally in people's eyes. But when you get to court, the court will ask for proof. Was there a statutory marriage? Was there a customary marriage? Was there a divorce? Was the earlier marriage dissolved? Another question they'll ask is, was the second marriage valid under the law? Was there a will? Who has the legal right to administer the estate? That is why this case is so important. It shows that public recognition is not the same as legal protection. You may be known as the madam, the officially socially recognized wife, or the wife recognized by the family. You may attend events together, as in the case of Helen Prest-Ajayi and Dr. Tosin Ajayi. You may have lived together for decades. Helen Prest-Ajayi was with Dr. Tosin Ajayi for 25 years. But if the paperwork does not support your position, trouble can start when the other person is no longer alive to speak. Okay? Like they say in in Yoruba land, "Oku okimba alai rojo," right? So it's when the person is alive that you resolve your issues together. And this is not just about women, okay? Men also need to learn from this. If you are building a family, if you're building generational wealth, building property, building a business, or building a legacy, you cannot afford to leave your loved ones inside legal confusion. For me, the second point I want to raise from this case is that long-term partnership is not automatic legal security. And for me, I think this is the most painful part. If your bias is towards, Helen Prest-Ajayi, many women, especially in Africa, sacrifice years of their lives inside relationships that are not properly documented. They build with a man, they raise children, they contribute to the home, they support the business, they manage his illness, they stand by him publicly and privately. But when death happens, the law does not simply ask who suffered with him. Nobody will ask you, say you suffer with a man, how many years it takes suffer with a man and all of that. No, the law asks, what is your legal status? And that can feel very cruel. Believe me, for someone who has spent 25 years and then the court is telling you you have no legal ground, you have no claim, it's cruel. Because sometimes the person who was emotionally present may not be the person the law recognizes first. And that is why this case has touched a nerve. It forces women to ask hard questions. Am I legally married? If he was married before, was that marriage legally dissolved? If we did traditional marriage, was it properly done and provable? If we have children, are their rights clearly protected? If we are building property together, is my name on anything? If he dies today, what exactly can I prove? These questions are not romantic, but they are necessary. Love is beautiful, trust me. I love love, but love does not replace legal clarity. Prayer is powerful, but prayer does not replace documentation. Family recognition is comforting. Yes, the family loves me. They don't like the first wife. They don't like the second wife. It is me. My father-in-law loves, my sister-in-laws. But family recognition does not always stand in court. It doesn't. Point number 3. Statutory marriage has serious legal weight. One of the key issues reported in this case is that Adenike Ajayi's statutory marriage to Dr. Tosin Ajayi was said to have remained valid because there was no legal divorce. This is where Nigerians, especially women, young women, this is where you need to pay attention. A statutory marriage is not something you end by packing out. You do not end it by saying we are no longer together. You do not end it because both parties have moved on. You do not end it because one person has started another relationship. You have to end it legally. Until that is done, that marriage may continue to have serious legal consequences. Okay? So when people say, but they had been separated for years, the legal answer is separation alone does not necessarily dissolve the marriage. You hear people say, oh, yeah, if you've been separated for 2 years or more than 2 years, then you're as good as divorced. No, that's not the law. The law says if you've been separated for 2 years or more than 2 years, it is a ground for divorce. So being separated for 2 years or more than 2 years is not divorce. Okay? Because many Nigerians live in arrangements where everybody has moved on, but legally nothing has moved. So the first marriage is still standing. The second relationship is emotionally real, but legally vulnerable. Most times, children are born into complex situations. Properties are acquired, businesses grow, then death comes. And suddenly, everybody is asking, who has the right? This is why legal housekeeping is not just for rich people, it is for every adult. Every responsible adult, especially when you have children. So another point this issue brought up is estate planning is important. So let's talk about the biggest silence in many Nigerian families today. It is estate planning. A lot of people do not like writing wills. Some say, God forbid. When you hear, have you written? They say, God forbid. Some say, I will not die young. My family knows what I want. Some will even say, my children will not fight. Some will say, my wife knows everything. And women, most of us say, oh, my husband family loves me. Okay? But please, let us be honest. When money enters the room, many people change. Your brother from the same womb will change when it comes to money. When property enters the room, memory becomes selective. When that happens, even peaceful families can become divided. So a will does not mean you are planning to die. A will means you are planning responsibly. Estate planning is not lack of faith, oh my people. It is not. It is stewardship. It is wisdom. If you have children, write things down. What belongs to who takes what, who has what, write it down. Get a lawyer. If you have property, write things down. If you have a business, write them down, document them. Where, what location, in case of my passing, who takes what belongs to who. If you have more than one family structure, please write things out, spell them out. Because even at times when this thing happens, right? Sometimes you find, even when you have a will, an existing will, you still find out that people go to court to contest the will you have written. How much more when you don't have a will, when you don't have anything, legally written down and documented and certified, right? So do not leave your wife, do not leave your partner, your children, your siblings, your business associate, and even your extended family to fight over what you could have clarified while you are alive. Because unclear life can become 10 years of litigation after death, and then your legacy becomes rubbish. Another sensitive part of this case is the issue of children and legitimacy. I want to be very careful here because this is part of the appeal. And the people involved are living human beings. They are not characters in the movie. Okay, so there is a broader lesson. Adults make relationship decisions, and children unfortunately get to inherit the consequences of those decisions. A child does not choose whether the parents did court marriage, customary marriage or cohabitation, separation or divorce or not, right? A child does not choose the family structure. So when adults have legal issues, messy legal issues, as the case may be, children can become dragged into battles they did not create. And for me, I feel that is unfair to the children involved. And this is why parents must stop treating documentation as an afterthought. Protect your children. Make sure birth records are clear. Make sure property arrangements are clear. Make sure your guardianship is clear. Make sure inheritance plans are clear. Should you have underage children, in case of your demise, this is who gets to protect my child, and this is what they have right over. This is what my child can have. At what age does my child, you need to have all of those spelled out, and you can do that by getting a lawyer to walk you through all of those processes. Make sure family expectations are not left to assumption. Everything is clearly spelled out. Because when the adults are gone, the children are left to defend identities and rights that should have been protected from the very beginning. This is not only a women's issue. No. Many people will watch this case and say, women, protect yourselves. That is true. But also, men need to hear this. If you are a man and your life is complicated, do not leave chaos behind as inheritance. If you have separated from a spouse, please regularize it legally. If you are not sure, you can't continue to have that sense of, I want to eat my cake and have it, which is, usually the case. Some say, oh, I am leaving that first wife, I'm no longer satisfied. And then you move on to if you know you are no longer satisfied with the first wife, end it legally. Do right by the children you are bringing in from the new relation, even the one you have in the old relationship. Do right by them. Do right by the women you are bringing into your life. If you have entered another relationship, understand the legal implications. If you have children from different relationships, protect all your children, both from the first wife and the second wife. Let those protections be clearly and lawfully stated. If you have a business, do succession planning. If you have property, make the ownership clear. I have this plot of land here. In the case of my demise, this land I will it to my son. This one I will to my daughter. Let everything be documented. If there's a woman who has built with you, do not leave her exposed to public humiliation and legal uncertainty after your death. And if there's a legal wife from who you are separated, do not pretend the law has forgotten her simply because you have moved on emotionally. Men must understand that silence is not neutrality. Silence cannot be neutrality. When you refuse to clarify legal affairs, you are not avoiding conflict, you are only postponing it. So, the people who pay for it may be the people you claim to love, right? So, at this point, let me speak directly to women for a moment. My dear women, please do not build your life only on verbal assurance. When a man tells you, my family knows you, you are the one I love, don't worry, I'll take care of you. They tell you, you are my real wife. Nobody can remove you. Everything I have is yours. They tell you sweet nothings, the things you want to hear. Those words may sound beautiful, but they are not legal document. Oh, before you build with someone, ask hard questions. Check, do your due diligence. Has he been married before? Was that marriage legally dissolved? What type of marriage are we contracting? Me and this man. Is it statutory? Is it customary? Is it Islamic or just social introduction? What does each of these marriages mean legally? Are assets being acquired in both names or only one person's name? If I'm contributing money, where is the record? If I'm working in the business, what is my role on paper? If we have children, what protections are in place? Some women are afraid to ask these questions because they do not want to look materialistic. My dear women, please, Look materialistic. At least you will know where you stand. The man knows where you stand, you know where he stands. Asking for legal clarity is not greed, it is wisdom. A woman can love deeply and still think clearly. A woman can be prayerful and still protect herself, protect her children. A woman can be supportive and still ask for documentation. In fact, if someone truly loves you, clarity should not offend them. You asking for clarity should not offend them. So, again, I want to speak to the young people of today. Please listen to me. Do not let social media romance deceive you. We've gone public. It's shown you on Instagram. We are Instagram official. We are Twitter space official and all that. Love is not enough for marriage. Oh. Chemistry is not enough. Public display of affection is not enough. Matching outfits are not enough. Anniversary posts are not enough. My dear young people, young women, marriage has emotional, spiritual, social, and legal dimensions. So before you enter marriage, understand what you are entering. And before you leave a marriage, understand how to exit properly. Before you start another relationship after separation, please understand your legal position. Before you have children in a complicated relationship, I beg you in the name of God, understand the consequences. Because we are living in a generation that likes vibes. But life is not only vibes, oh. There are laws, there are documents, there are consequences, there is inheritance, there is legacy, and if you ignore these things, reality will not ignore you. Reality will not ignore you. So, my take on this, as a Christian, this case also reminds me of something important. The Bible says everything should be done decently and in order. Order is not the enemy of love. Sometimes we spiritualize what requires wisdom. We say God will take control, but God also expects us to act responsibly. If you are married, please honor your covenant. If a marriage has broken down, handle it properly. If you have children, protect them. If you have property, plan your estate. If you have made promises to the person you're with, your partner, please document them. If your life is complicated, do not leave confusion behind. Try to untangle every tangle. And peace is not only what you pray for, peace is also what you plan for. And at the end of the day, the story of Dr. Tosin Ajayi, Adenike Ajayi, and Helen Prest-Ajayi is not just a high society story from Lagos. It is a mirror. It reflects what is happening in many Nigerian families, only that this one became public and went through, 5 years of litigation and is now in the public record. However, there are many women living as wives without legal protection. There are many men separated but not divorced. There are many children whose inheritance rights may one day become complicated because adults refuse to put things in order. There are many families sitting on future court cases because nobody wants to have uncomfortable conversations today. So my message is simple. Do not wait until death exposes what life refused to organize. If you are married, know your legal status. If you are separated, please clarify your legal status. If you are building with someone, protect yourself legally. Protect yourself. If you have children, please protect them. And if you have an asset, plan your estate now. Get a lawyer, write a will. If you love your family, do not leave them confusion as inheritance because love may start the journey. But when legacy is at stake, love must be backed by wisdom, order, and legal clarity. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not castigate anyone or judge anyone. This is life. We live according to what God has designed for each and every one of us. So please be respectful. Do you think Nigerians take marriage documentation seriously enough? Also, what lessons do you think women, men, and families should take from this Dr. Tosin Ajayi family case? If this video helps you think deeper, please like it, share with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more of these conversations every week. because wisdom shared in time changes outcome. See you in the next one.